Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We got Vince.
Wild Thing.
That's what you did last time, I think.
And I'll do this for the last time.
All right, we got Chris.
You bleeding peroxide poopta, I'm gonna boot your ass straight into bloody orbit.
And I'm Kia. Welcome to the show. We're reading Swamp Thing today. It's our final Swamp Thing episode, probably. We've been reading the entire Alan Moore run. We're on volume 6 now. When did we start this? Was this
the first
like
year 20... of the first year of the show?
Really?
Yeah. So we did like when we started in 2015, we did it for our first like spooky season. We took I would say 5 or 6 years off, and we've done one I think every September, October since then, since 2021. Mm-hmm. So I think we did volume 2 probably in this time period in the fall, and then in 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, the last Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. I still like the Scott Snyder run and the Charles Soule runs. And I know Brian K. Vaughan has a run too. So we may not be done entirely with Swamp Thing, but right now.
That's true. For now, we're done with the Alan Moore Swamp Thing after this.
And it looks like Rick Veitch is the writer and artist, at least for the next couple of issues, which I am curious about.
Yeah.
I flipped into it. It's the art's not as good, which is weird, but I feel like you always said, Chris, that Alan Moore is really good at getting the best out of his artists and writing for the artist's talents. Because you can see how just the art changes when Veitch is writing and drawing by himself with Alan Moore. It's a little different.
Yeah.
And we're mentioning Alan Moore wrote these, but there's some sort of fill-in writers throughout this as well, which some of these issues kind of feel like fill-ins for sure. But this is a big old batch of issues. It's 57 through 64. Which is 8 issues total, mm-hmm. And Alan Moore writing. They're pretty dense, but we're gonna get through it pretty quickly because there's a lot of side characters who don't matter too much in this. Well, they matter, but you know what I mean.
And Adam Strange doesn't matter.
Adam Strange doesn't matter.
There's 2 Thanagarians I like, and their names Hawkgirl and Hawk Guy, and I don't care about any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one more than I care about Thanagarians.
Do you just care about Hawkgirl?
Yeah, because she had an arc in the Justice League cartoon. That's basically the only reason I care.
Yeah.
She's in the Superman movie. She's cool. My daughter likes her.
They didn't even say anything about her being an alien, so I don't think she is an alien in that movie. I think she's human.
Because also the Black Adam with the Rock has a Hawk Guy in it, or Hawkman, Carter, whatever. But
oh yeah,
I don't think he's a Thanagarian either. He's just a dude with hawk wings, and that's all we need to know.
Oh, I got so confused. You said Black Adam with the Rock had a Thanagarian in it. Yes. I thought the character of Black Adam has a rock that he's keeping a hawk guy in.
No.
It took me a second. The Rock. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He hasn't gone by The Rock in a film since Walking Tall. It's been 20 years. I'm sorry. Yeah. Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson. That's who I know.
I mean, I don't know how you could forget, because didn't the culture of the DC universe adjust, or I forget what the thing that it was supposed to do. Somehow the polarity was going to reverse on.
Yeah. The Rock thought that he was going to take over the DC universe, and they were going to build all the movies around him. And then Henry Cavill has a cameo at the end of it that he's going to take on Black Adam. Henry Cavill, by the way, has played Superman more recently than Robert Pattinson has played Batman. Just a thing, but that's okay.
Wow. I mean, they've said that the Pattinson Batman is not in the James Gunn DC universe, right?
Yep, so far.
Whereas, I mean, obviously, Superman from the previous version isn't either, but...
It's been 3 Batmans since the last time I looked. I don't know what's going on.
Ben Affleck, George Clooney even played a Batman in the Flash movie. It's been a minute.
Whoa.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves played Batman in the Crypto movie, also with The Rock. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, not Crypto with a Rock. Let's get the Swamp Thing.
Let's talk about Swamp Thing. There's a bunch of issues, we don't have to go into too much detail about some of these, I don't think.
No, yeah, I started, sometimes I'll take notes as I'm reading, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm kind of writing down everything that I see. And I realized that was a very bad idea with these first few issues here, because we open with Adam Strange, and it's this first issue is mostly Adam Strange. First couple of issues, um, he is so Adam Strange's deal is like he gets teleported out to space and then back to Earth randomly, I
Yep.
guess.
He's
I
kind of
think,
like Captain Marvel, Rick Jones.
yeah, I was thinking of that.
But he's also like got a little bit of like Flash Gordon, where he's like, getting this alien princess pregnant and like has this separate life on this other planet.
Does John Carter of Mars have a similar thing? Doesn't he just whoosh off to Mars every now and then? Have like a princess with Mars and then get like zapped back to the Civil War?
Civil War? I don't know.
Oh, I saw John Carter of Mars. Okay, I think that's what happens.
We'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Right,
that cultural touchstone. Not like Flash Gordon or Captain Marvel and Rick Jones. Look. It's a dude that zaps off to space and he like runs into like a building that's like, this building wasn't here for my portal like 3 years ago. Yeah, well, there's mini malls everywhere now. And now it's a bathroom. He's got to kick a guy out of the bathroom so he can like zap back to his home planet.
Yeah,
it is wild that there's just like a full mall in the middle of the outback.
In like the middle of the desert. Yeah, there's nothing else out there. Seems like a bad spot for a mall. Maybe the land was cheap.
I guess.
So he goes back to the alien planet where he's made it his home, and they're all speaking this alien language for a long time. What did you say?
After my quote, he throws the guy who's on the toilet out of the bathroom so that he can warp away.
Yes. But he's out there. They mention Ron and Thanagar, or Ran and Thanagar. I don't know how you pronounce those, but I remember the Ran Thanagar War. I remember hearing about it, something like that. And I'm like, okay, there's some stuff. I think the Hawk people are from Thanagar, right? Yeah. And then, okay, Hawkman and Hawkgirl are there. And this is when I finally realized halfway through this issue that this guy's Adam Strange. And the Hawk people are there because Ron is dealing with a famine, and the Hawks are like, we're bringing you some technology to help with your famine in exchange for some info. We just want like architectural info and info on this Zeta beam that y'all have that can transport people back and forth from Earth. And they're like, wait, why do you want that? But they get interrupted because a cactus demon is attacking the Barter District. I didn't really mention. Okay, when this guy like teleports back to the planet, his satchel, like they leave it behind, and Swamp Thing comes by, and he's like brown and looking weird, and it's labeled Seattle, and he gets a little like look in his eye, like, oh, Seattle, what? So he's over there looking for the owner of this satchel because he's trying to get back to Earth. Okay, we should mention when we last left Swamp Thing, they fucking killed him, but not really. They just like destroyed him, and his bioelectrical waves were not in tune with Earth anymore, and he like just shot to the other side of the universe and appeared on a random planet.
Wasn't he blue or something?
He was blue, yes, but now he's brown.
And he's really mad. He was really mad at Gotham City because they arrested Abby because unclear why. I guess at first because they thought she was a prostitute, and then because like I don't know, it's illegal to have sex with a plant or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big thing in the last. It
wasn't
book.
Even in that was a weird arc because they took pictures of her fooling around with him in the bayou. And then Gotham City, she went to Gotham City and then got in trouble in Gotham City. The GCPD arrested her for that or something?
Yes.
And they arrested her. They thought she was a prostitute up there, though.
Oh,
I remember that.
Right.
Yeah, at first. But then they're like, oh, but wait, this is the woman that we have these pictures of. And then they were holding her. And then Alec was just like, hey, like, let her go in the next, like, 24 hours or whatever. I'm just going to destroy your city.
Yeah.
And then that's when they ended up like knocking him out of sync and blah blah blah. Which it would be nice, I guess, to jump ahead like 7 issues when he kills all the guys that did this to him. I did not remember who they were.
Me neither. I was like, I assume they had something to do with all that, but yeah, a little bit more of a recap of who they were would have been a little nice, but that's okay. Anyways, Everyone's sounding the alarms because a cactus demon is attacking the Barter district on Ron. And Adam Strange is like, okay, duty calls, I gotta go. And it's Swamp Thing. He just wants to know who came from Seattle, but the guards are shooting him, and he's like, oh man, I'm tired of guns. I can never get away from these things. Adam Strange shows up, starts fighting this brainless monster, he calls him, blows his head off, straps a rocket to him, sends him up in the air, shoots him, and Swamp Thing explodes. Pretty damn cool, actually. It's also very rare that you see the protagonist of your story get sent up in a rocket and explode, and I liked it. Adam Strange sees this doctor of Ron. His name is Sardath, talking to the Hawk people, and he looks like kind of concerned. And Adam Strange is like, God, what's going on there? I don't know if we trust these Hawk people. Also, I don't fit in with these aliens because I'm an Earthling and I'm never going to be fully part of it. And Swamp Thing, of course, is not dead. He reforms and he sees the statue of Adam Strange that says he's an Earthling, and he's like, oh, okay. So on to the next issue here. Adam Strange is having a conversation with Hawkgirl. She seems a little bit evil during this conversation, but maybe she's just being pragmatic. And then Swamp Thing finds Adam Strange again and says he brought his bag back, his satchel. And Adam's like, whoa, wait, you speak English? And he's like, yeah. And he tells him the whole story about how he ended up here.
To paraphrase 30 Rock, Hawkgirl, you need to wear a bra. Because she's just wearing like suspenders.
Yeah.
She is just wearing suspenders. It's a weird outfit. Yeah.
That's the only thing covering her nipples. It's like if you move your arms.
Yeah. How do they fight like that? And your vision has to be obstructed as well with that big ass mask. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem very smart. So after they kind of make up, Adam Strange is like, hey, wait a minute. Can you like encourage plant life here on this planet and help us with our famine? And Swamp Thing's like, well, I guess I can try. So they go to this conference room to talk to the scientist, and then all the elders are going to vote on, do we make a deal with the Thanagarians or do we let Swamp Thing try? And they're like, all right, they vote for Swamp Thing. And the Hawks are mad at the rejection. They're like, we're out of here. So Swamp Thing goes off to the desert to try and make some stuff grow, but he can tell everything here is like, it's kind of tough to make it grow. Everything's brown and red and kind of dying, which is why he's brown. And he's like almost getting in tune with like some of the greenery that he can find to try and make it grow. But then Hawkman comes in and fucking slices him with an axe and then axes down into his head. I do like that you can really fuck up Swamp Thing as much as you want. It makes for some great art.
You're right there. Absolutely.
Yep. Then they blast him with a mind eater gun or ray of some sort that's supposed to mess with his head. And thankfully Adam Strange flies in to help. He kind of suspected that these Hawk people weren't on the up and up. He takes care of Hawkman, but Hawkgirl breaks his arm, breaks some of his ribs. And he gets saved by some of these water animals that the scientist Sardath had. They're like, I don't know what these things are, but they're like, it's like a fountain of water, but the water is also an animal. I don't know how else I can try to explain that. But it turns into a cat and helps him. So with them out of the way, Ron severs the treaty with Thanagar. Swamp Thing gets back to work, gets some plant life going, and they're like, cool, thanks, Swamp Thing. Hey, here's another planet where maybe you can live, because there's a lot of vegetation there. And they kind of tell him to go check out that planet. And Swamp Thing tells Adam, hey, next time you're on Earth, can you get a message to Abigail, his girlfriend? And tell him he's still alive. He's going to come home one day. So Swamp Thing leaves. Adam Strange's alien girlfriend comes up to tell him that she's pregnant. And he's like, whoa, cool. And then he disappears, gets sucked back to Earth. Which I feel like he can control it. Like, whoa, baby, sorry, I can't control it. I'm getting sucked back to Earth. Oh no, I gotta go. Bye. Yeah, that's the impression I got. But I think we're mostly done with Adam Strange stuff. On to
Do we want to pause here, or do we talk about that Adam Strange arc, or do we just want to do that at the end?
yeah, we probably should because this story kind of finishes up its little bit there. Um, I got real Thunderbolts on the alien planet vibes with these
Yeah.
two issues right here. Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was, I think a lot of these issues that we're coming up through are like, okay, watching Swamp Thing's journey back home, running into people, and we spend a lot of time on those people, and I kind of just don't care. I
That's
just
where I
want to
was
focus
at.
on the Swamp Thing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
historically have never cared about Rand, Thanagar, Adam Strange. Like every time I read a book like this, I'm like, I'm not really interested. And the fact like it's been a long time with them without translating English, so it was just like
Yeah.
alien sounds
Yeah.
with no subtitles. So it like kept me at it took like 9 pages for Swamp Thing to show up, and that part of me, especially in that first issue, I was like, is Alan Moore just wanting to write Adam Strange story, and he's using Swamp Thing as a vehicle. And then Swamp Thing doesn't really like because he's already like a weird character, like, and then throwing him in this weird space universe. Like, there's nothing for me to be really grounded on. Like Adam Strange is
Yeah.
a little I can ground onto, but it was hard. I
Yeah.
didn't like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like any like long term like the protagonist is stuck in space story because it's just like I'm not like, oh, is he never coming back? I'm like, I know he's coming back. You're just
Mhm.
kind of killing time. Like, so it is, it's kind of frustrating that it's, it is fully just like an Adam Strange 2-part story that Swamp Thing just cameos in.
Hmm, hmm. Well, if you wanted less Swamp Thing, we've got issue number 59 for you, where I don't think he's in it at all. This is
So
a go,
this
go
is
ahead.
like, I guess Alan Moore like was plotted this maybe, but he did not write this
Mhm.
issue.
No, this was Stephen Bissett, who also wrote the intro for this volume. Remind us who Stephen Bissett is. Remind me who Stephen Bissett is because I've forgotten.
He's
No one knows.
one of the artists.
He's a writer.
Okay.
I want to say him.
Already disagreement. Is he a writer or an
Bissett,
artist?
Toddleben, and Veach were the artists, right?
You're right. I think that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Like the main artist for this.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that I've ever read anything of his. Anyway,
Yeah, he did issues 16 and 17 and then 21 to 27 of the Alan Moore run. So he was at the beginning of the
Okay.
run. And did he do no, he didn't do the art. I'm looking at him like this isn't what the art looked like at the beginning of this, but yeah, so I don't know. This is a fill-in issue.
It's a very fill-in issue.
He did a couple of issues of that 1963 we read for our 200th episode, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a lot of heavy metal.
Hmm.
I'm guessing a British art. Nope, Vermont. Okay, all right, yeah, but like heavy metal and just like a lot of just like random issues of House of Mystery, Sergeant Rock, that sort of stuff.
Okay. So the story for this issue here is that there's some demon torturing a guy named Anton Arcane in the underworld. He's being punished for something about his brother Gregory. And the demon is like, "Oh, have you forgotten what you did to your brother? Let me show you." And like shows him a vision of everything that has happened or possibly is happening. It's really not very clear what's happening with all this for me. Um, and I'm going to have a hard time even recapping what happens, but it's very focused on Frankenstein with like little girl Abby and her dad reading Frankenstein to her, and they're kind of making up a happier ending. And afterwards, they see some poachers and go running after them, and Abigail kind of wakes up from the nightmare. Um, and we do get a glimpse of what Abby is currently doing in the real world. She's working at an old folks' home. There's some jerk there named Gator who likes to steal stuff from the old people and push them down, I guess. Also, there's a Frankenstein monster running around looking for his daughter Abigail. Uh, And Abigail goes to Texas because there have been some monster sighting, and it's her Frankenstein father, and she thought it was Swamp Thing, but it's not, and finds her dad, and they embrace. But then there's a hailstorm, and his body falls apart, and she finds all the limbs, but can't find his head, and that's because it's the brother's head, because he's in hell, and they're just torturing his head forever.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead.
So Arcane was like the big bad of Swamp Thing originally, and obviously Abigail is related to him. And he in our stories, Arcane I think started dead, but then he comes back like possessing Matthew Cable. Because then there's that scene where Abigail realizes who he is and like has like a full meltdown, which I mean it's a very gross scene. But Patchwork Man is like they had already established that Arcane had basically resurrected his brother who had died into this sort of like Frankenstein creature thing that apparently debuted in 1973 in Swamp Thing issue 2. And so this is a pre-existing character, but we've not seen him at all in Alan Moore Swamp Thing.
Okay. So that makes a lot more sense to me, because I thought I was supposed to know what was going on, and I feel a lot better that I didn't.
Yeah, so it's a pre-existing character, but it's not a character that has been part of the story at all for like the last 6 years. It was part of the original Swamp Thing storyline that they obviously haven't talked about, and then he dies this issue, so they're not talking about it then.
Nope. Cool. I got nothing else to say about it, Vince.
I have. This is where my problem with this. I mean, my book has problems. I don't know if you saw like the show Barry or anything like that. I don't like when shows separate their protagonists for like a long time. Like we now have had 2 issues of like Swamp Thing elsewhere, and then we had an Abigail. Like I think the book works best when it's like Abigail and Swamp Thing together, doing things. And they've been separated, and they're often their separate adventures. So I'm not getting like a satisfying Swamp Thing book. And this wasn't like, I think this was trying. The last few issues, they all feel like they're trying to be like, or rather, Sandman is trying to be this, but it feels like Sandman, and I don't care at this point, and I'm losing a lot of interest. If this wasn't the last arc, I would have said, I don't think I want to read Swamp Thing 7, guys.
Yeah, and it is like I liked Abigail's like subplots with like the evil like a hospital or whatever this or children's school or whatever it was that then they needed a demon and like Etrigan got involved with. Like I like when her storylines are like a subplot in whatever Swamp Thing is doing, but to just give her an issue where it's just her, you're like, okay, like you kind of need more than just one character who doesn't talk to Swamp Thing.
Yeah, but I also need her. I also need Swamp Thing to have her around. Like, I don't like a Swamp Thing. I don't like many Swamp Thing stories without her either. In some capacity.
But I guess I'm complaining more about just like the way it's structured, because it's not even like we're jumping back and forth between like his story and her story. It's like, no, full issue with her story. But we're not going to get back. They're not getting back together the next issue. Like if you thought this issue was a weird fill.
Oh man.
We got another one. Yep.
This issue, so, I did not read every text box in this thing.
Oh no,
neither did
this
I.
Is explicitly the type of comic that I hate.
Me too.
It also.
So I will.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to say before we jump into the comic itself, I was pretty excited by the cover, because I was like, well, this is a different cover. It's really giving me like heavy metal vibes. I know that Swamp Thing on the cover, but it looks like Chewbacca in C-3PO's costume.
Yeah, and he's in like a weird spacesuit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is this going to be? I'm excited. And then as soon as I saw the first page, I was like, oh, shit, it's a prose comic, isn't it?
It says brand new format also, which I'm like worried, like, oh, no, is the whole book from now on going to be like this? Which is
well, it said new format for all the other issues after this as well, even though those were like regular.
I know, but
so I think this is like,
if I'm buying this issue and I've not liked the last 3 issues at the comic book store, and this says this is our new format, and it's a prose comic, and it's like single page art that's kind of like photographed, and then it's just got like narration captions over it, and that's an immediate turn off to Vince. I don't know. I've written comics like that thinking like this will be cool, And
No,
then
it
like,
never is.
but when I read them, I'm like, this fucking sucks. I hate this.
Yeah. And the art, like, it's kind of like weird and trippy, but it's not like clear enough. It's just very like abstractly abstract, if that's a
Yeah.
way to describe it. Um, and it doesn't like amount to anything. I don't even know who's talking. Is this the
The
mother
planet.
box? Is this the mother
No.
box? No, okay.
No,
From
this
two
is a
issues
different.
later. No.
Yeah, it is funny because they like he explicitly meets like New Gods characters in 2 issues, but this issue, it's all the Jack Kirby like experimental art he was doing towards the end of Fantastic Four. Like it's very much of like
Yeah.
his late Asgard and Negative Zone, where he would do
Yes.
like photorealistic stuff.
I do remember when we were reading that Fantastic Four, the Galactus stuff, I think, had a panel that looked a lot like these kind of like newspapery, almost like weird. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's doing kind of that. The story I really don't like.
No,
It's bizarre. I guess it's supposed to be upsetting.
I guess so. Okay. I think the idea is like Swamp Thing is flying through space, runs into this tech thing, and it like he kind of gets absorbed into it for a little while, and this thing is sort of commenting on like, oh, look at this creature who's like in me now, and then it passes through, and he's like, okay, bye, Swamp Thing. Is that the gist of it, really? Something like that?
I mean, it's a lot more disturbing than that.
Okay, yeah. I didn't read it
Because
all, so I didn't get all the...
so the first time, so what happens is Swamp Thing's passing through, and the planet, which is you find out talking to its like children, is like, I knew I had to do something, so it like alters time, catches Swamp Thing, and then fuses with it to get the planet pregnant.
Okay.
It's unclear that Swamp Thing wanted this to happen. But it's I drank the wine of his intelligence, drank his body, the pattern of his cells. I ate his fear, I ate his agony, I ate his love, his love, his love. The rest I threw away.
Wow.
Like, what? It's really messed up.
That's pretty messed up. But we never have to think about them again because that issue's over.
Yeah, that's the end of the issue. Is
Yep.
Swamp Thing, I guess, had some vegetable matter extracted from him to make the planet pregnant. And I guess that's fine.
Yep.
It's I think it gets played out that like Alan Moore has like sexual assault in every one of his comics, but it's like this is a weird one.
It's a weird one. Yep. Vince, any thoughts?
I tapped out of this issue.
Which obviously it's not the first time, because again, the when it turns out the uncle is actually sleeping with his niece by pretending to be her husband, that was the first time in Swamp Thing that had happened. It's much worse, but so Swamp Thing doesn't pass that test either.
All right, let's move on then. On to number 61. Oh god, amazing cover on this one, because I instantly want to know what's going on. Swamp Thing is like, it's a close-up of his face. He's holding his hands up. His eyes are little mouths that are screaming, and he's wearing a Green Lantern ring for some reason. And I don't know why, but I love this cover.
That is cool.
Yep.
It is cool.
So we are on the planet J586, which is a planet full of vegetable people, and they're like carrots with flowers for hair and all sorts of stuff. It seems like a pretty cool planet.
This is where Adam Strange told Swamp Thing to go.
Yes, yeah. We get a whole lot of talking about these people and what they're going through before Swamp Thing has showed up, which again, I did not care very much about.
I love their designs, though.
But
I like
their designs
this more.
are great. Yes. Overall, it was still kind of more enjoyable to just kind of read and look through it and see what was going on. So Swamp Thing shows up, and you know how Swamp Thing does. He shows up and he's like, okay, let me just like absorb some vegetation so I can make a body for myself. He's like, okay, I'm on a planet with a lot of vegetation. Let me do that. Oh, wait, this is all sentient life. and he kind of realizes that a little too late as he starts making his body out of the vegetation, and it's causing a little bit of a catastrophe on this planet because all these people are alive and he's forming them into a giant body for himself. And he's like, sorry, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm so sorry. Um, this planet, though, has a Green Lantern who is a carrot with yellow hair. I don't think he is a carrot. He just looks like a carrot Green Lantern. I think his name is Medfill. And um, this guy's like, yeah, fine. I guess I'll help you. His mentor has been in a coma, so Swamp Thing like takes the mentor's body for a little while, so he has somewhere to live while they get things figured out and kind of help set Swamp Thing straight. And he flies out of there. Um, really, really, really great art throughout all this, especially that giant splash page where he's like, wrapped around their homes, absorbing everybody, looking real monstrous. And then some trippy stuff throughout all this as well, while they're figuring out the science behind it, even though it's pretty nonsensical. It was still fun to look at. Um, but yeah, I didn't care too much about the specifics of how they figured out, like how they needed to help him.
I thought it was cool, and I liked the like we get these like lovers and then like this artist and everything, and so like when they're in a hive mind, they don't like it because it's just like yeah, you're like when you're able to like share thoughts and everything with everyone else, you're just like no, this is a little too personal. We don't like this.
Mm-hmm. And they did give some. He gave some good characterization of this Green Lantern being like kind of older and weaker a little bit and like not necessarily having the willpower necessarily. And you're like, you do feel that with his dialogue. He's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I like this this old beat down carrot Green Lantern. Something
And then
nice
of course, yeah, Swamp Thing. When he's like, I need a body. I can't just be like a thing of energy. And the carrot Green Lantern just looks at his dead friend and is like, well, guess he's not using this body.
So after all this, we do get a little epilogue scene with Abby. That guy Chester, we've seen him throughout these volumes here. Chester is just a friend of
He ate a
Swamp
sweet
Thing.
potato, didn't he?
He ate a sweet. Well, he didn't eat it. He had the sweet potato from Swamp Thing that he gave away to some other people.
His wife, I want to say. Maybe he give a yam to his wife. I'm getting him confused with Chaz, who's Constantine's buddy. But
I don't think he's married. Based on
what
happens.
What we've seen, yeah. No, this guy's just Chester. He is helping Abby start like an eco, group to make the environment better, that sort of thing. And then they're kind of meeting at home, and they get a knock on the door, and it's Adam Strange with a message for Abigail Cable saying, your lover, the swamp creature, told me to tell you he's alive. And he's like, yeah, I get teleported randomly to space sometimes, and he ended a famine over there. And there's a Zeta beam and blah blah blah. And Abigail gets pissed. She's like, get the fuck out of my house, you crazy man. So yeah, message I guess not received.
Yeah, I do like he's talking to this environmentalist hippie guy. It's like, you don't understand. There's a flash of light, and I'm on another planet. And the guy's like, yeah, I sometimes get that.
Yeah, I get that too.
Like, yeah, I have these acid trips where I just am on another planet.
All right. Anything else to say about that one before we get on to 62?
I like that. I like that a lot better. I wish we had gone straight to that after the Adam Strange issues instead of the 2-issue diversion into Crazy Town.
Yep. I also wish we had gotten straight from that back to Earth instead of this other diversion we're about to get. 62. Vince, I feel like you were just super checked out at this point if you weren't already.
Man. It's very rare. I don't actually know if it's ever happened on this show where I just like actively stopped reading issues. Like I read like the first Adam Strange issue and I was like, I don't like this. And then I read the second one, I'm like, this is okay. and then I read the Abigail one, which was very unclear to me, and then the Swamp Thing, like the prose one broke me, and I'm like maybe I couldn't read anything until the final issue. So these like you throw the New Gods at me also, and I'm like I do not care about this either. Metron, nope, I'm out. I need. I'm like I will tune back in when Abigail and Swamp Thing get back together, but otherwise I'm very checked out. Yes.
Yeah. I like the art. I like that Veitch got to draw Dark Side. But yeah, it's just kind of nothing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
and Veitch also wrote this one as well. It's another, yeah.
Yes.
What were you gonna say, Vince?
oh man, I just there's not enough Swamp. This is my also problem with Sandman. I'm like I don't like I want to see my. This is not. He's not like a. He should. Swamp Thing is sometimes, and this is when I don't like it, is just like a vehicle to introduce other people's stories, and I don't care about that. I just want my Swamp Thing.
I mean,
I did. Go ahead, Chris.
I like that about Sandman is that when you bring back characters and you have like such a deep bench and then you do something like The Wake or whatever, where you're just like, oh, remember the like 50 characters who like have had important storylines in this book. I think that's cool, but Swamp Thing isn't really that kind of book. Like it's mostly been about Swamp Thing and Abby, and like that's basically your two characters that we care about.
And there are some cool things like the Winchester House issue or two. Like that was interesting. I don't remember how much Swamp Thing was actually involved in that. But this is neither sophisticated suspense or horror or Swamp Thing. So I'm like,
I guess Constantine too, but Constantine's not really like he's already not in the book anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say the positive for this issue here. Well, we'll get to the actual plot in a second, but the nice thing about this issue is at the end, I feel like, okay, before we reunite Swamp Thing and Abigail, let's kind of reset and make sure people know that Swamp Thing's main goal is just to be with Abigail, And they kind of, I think they did a nice job with this where, all right, let's back up. We'll talk about the issue real quick. There's a guy named Metron. Is that his name? He floats around in a chair with some element X. What's it called? Something like that. Something like that. And he's floating around through space, and he runs into Swamp Thing, who like accidentally fucks up his chair or something like that. And this Metron guy works for Darkseid. We don't really find that out till close to the end of the issue, where he's just kind of reporting back to his boss, and we're like, oh my god, his boss is Darkseid. Whoa. But Swamp Thing was like in tune with some mother box who I don't understand the mother box and I don't want to understand the mother box, but Swamp Thing and Metron were almost like destroyed by some new god they ran into, and then Swamp Thing like got in tune with stuff and they got like they saw infinity, and this Metron guy is like, holy shit, I was in tune with everything, and Swamp Thing went insane, and the mother box like saved him or something and like deleted his memories of seeing infinity so that he wouldn't go insane. And Darkseid is like, oh well, that means his memories are still recorded on the mother box, right? And so they look at it, and his like main focus was just on Abby and all that. And I like that, especially the juxtaposition of like what Metron saw, how Metron saw fucking everything. He saw everything from a gambler folding his hand to fucking Hitler to a random cat just hanging out to every chess game ever played to the Taj Mahal to the pterodactyls, everything. And then you see what what Swamp Thing was looking at, and it was like just fucking Abby, and it's like, okay, that's neat, it's sweet, it's a nice moment. And Darkseid's like, oh, so this is how you escape insanity. It's something that I was not like, we didn't understand it because it was love. And
he's got his Goodwill Hunting blackboard up there, 666 divided by 666.
Yeah. It's it's still not a good issue, but I did like that little touch of like, okay, reminding us like, all right, we really want to get back together with Abby. I hope it pays off.
I do. I mean, I agree. This is not a great issue, especially because this is just like the new gods dropping by for one issue. But I love the way Veitch draws Metron. He reminds me so much of Dr. Venture in this issue. Like he's constantly making these big expressions and like so like unheroic that I was just like I can just hear Dr. Venture's voice coming out of him when he's just like, falling over and his ass is in the air and then he's like kicking his chair because it's not working. I was just like, this is so pathetic, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, like regardless of the plots, I think every character throughout these like still has great characterization, which is always really nice. Yeah.
Everything looks great.
And yeah. Vince, what did you think of that one?
Yeah, didn't like it. I like the art though. I do like the art.
Yeah.
I mean, it's these like fantastical, like Metron and everything, but then they kind of have like realistic proportions and shading and a little bit pudgy bellies and stuff. I like the art of it, and I like the kind of like pink and blue kind of stuff on it. But I'm like, this isn't Swamp Thing. This isn't what I'm here for.
I liked Swamp Thing making himself Metron's chair because he needs a chair, obviously.
Yeah.
What is that like? I also like just like I got confused. I thought that Metron was the Monitor from Crisis on Infinite Earths, which he's not, but that was an instant turnoff too because that was also a dude of similar build who he sat in a gold chair. Like I was out.
I mostly remember Metron from Marvel: The Untold Story because I don't read New Gods stuff in general. But Jim Starlin, when he created Thanos, he was apparently like influenced by Metron, and I forget who it was. If it was whether it was Roy Thomas or I feel like if it was Roy Thomas, I would have heard him taking credit for it more. But whoever it was, maybe it was Marv Wolfman or someone, was just like, why would you like if you're gonna steal Darkseid? Like that's the best one. Which is like, yes, obviously.
Which I mean, Thanos is kind of close to that, like, or at least in like the modern interpretations.
Yeah. I think Thanos is kind of a combination of the two, but he has some in common with it is funny, like when the cinematic universe stuff started happening, the DC universe started hinting that they were going to do Darkseid. It's like, you're too late. Marvel is way in front of you.
Yeah.
So I Googled Metron, and the first thing is a Reddit post that says, so Metron's essentially DC's version of the Watcher. And I go, okay. Except he meddles more.
Yeah.
He's a guy in a chair, so he doesn't actually do stuff.
Yeah. All right. On to 63, I think.
Yep.
We're back on Earth.
Finally.
Yeah. Swamp Thing crashes. Swamp Thing crashes on a planet, and we know it's Earth because there's a teenager trying to have sex with his girlfriend in a bush or something. And
an Earth only thing. The carrot planet wouldn't do this.
Yep.
No.
We get Abigail visiting her ex-husband who's in a coma, Matt, who I'd forgotten all about completely. And Chester goes to visit Liz. What was Liz? What's her last name? Liz Tremaine. Who wrote that book and was kind of crazy, like a shut-in. Her boyfriend was like telling her you can't leave the apartment from a few volumes ago. But Chester's checking up on her and, says she's pretty, says she's not crazy, that kind of thing. And she's like, oh, okay. Seems like there's a little something building there. Then we see a guy named Gus, who I think had to have been one of those bad guys from before, who I don't remember, and he's taking some flowers to his girlfriend or something, and he's like, "Oh, these flowers look bigger than they were in the store," and then they're getting bigger, and the vines are crawling out, and the flowers like envelop him and drag him into the pool or something, and they kill him.
They just stab him and the blood flows into the pool.
Is that it? The blood flows into the pool. That's what it is. Pretty nice scene. I always like it when they do flowers with Swamp Thing and when flowers kill people. It's pretty nice. Chester goes to the hospital looking for Abigail. Runs into Wallace Monroe. This issue is a little bit of a parade of like, hey, who's some of the loose threads that we had around here? Um, Wallace Monroe, his wife is in the hospital for something or other. Chester had given him one of those special Swamp Thing yams to give his wife, but we don't know if she ever took it. But Wallace is going in there to visit his wife, and she passed away before he got there. Well, too bad.
Yeah, issue
But
53, so 10
there we
issues
go.
ago.
Yep. But Chester also tells him about the eco group they're starting up in case he feels like having something to do and kind of coming around to help. Some other one of these assholes who's a bad guy. We see him get killed by pink roses. We see Swamp Thing trap another guy in his lawn by like growing everything up around him. Then there's another guy who's kind of going crazy. He's like part of this whole organization. It's like, oh my God, I need protection. And he's eating a sandwich, and the sandwich has tomatoes and lettuce in it, and they're like, some sort of greenery. And he's like, oh my God, and it all comes like he turns into a tree. The guy turns into. This is my panel of the week. I love this dude turning into a tree. It's great. Then Abby and Chester are kind of out and about, trying to figure out what to do, where to go. And Chester's like, wait a minute, I think I see more of these yams on the ground that came from Swamp Thing. And they look up, and there's a bunch of yellow flowers blooming on the trees. And I was like, what is this? Wait, what? And the last page is Swamp Thing popping up out of the ground, holding Abby up. And Abby's got an expression of like, whoa, with her hands on her head. And Chester's in the back, like with jumping up in the air with his arms up. And there's no text on the page. This page right here, like, I love it because it is a little bit of like, hooray, Swamp Thing and Abby back together. It doesn't feel like it fits in this volume that we've been reading at all, just because like there's no text and it's drawn kind of like a little goofy almost.
Well, and then the next line, Return of the Good Gumbo.
Return of the Good Gumbo. There's a lot of weird stuff on this page. But you know what? They're back together. Vince, how do you feel?
I'm feeling better now. I'm back.
Mm-hmm. We're on Earth.
I think the last I got mad the way I got mad at Barry. Did y'all watch that show? It's basically the show was Bill Hader and Henry Winkler's character, but then like Bill Hader goes to prison, like how Chris says like on another planet, like I know he's gonna get out of prison, but then like it just fragments like the best two character like dynamic for like a season and a half. They have no scenes together, and it's very frustrating. Like that's how I felt about this book.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. Like I understand that like we need to separate them, but also it feels like it's killing time. I'm glad for them back to be together. Also, like what else are they gonna do? I feel like they've done like their story is done. They can ride off into the sunset. So like I don't know.
Pretty much what they do. We got Abby and Swamp Thing hanging out at the lake. Swamp Thing is considering ending famine. He wrestles an alligator for some reason.
Oh, I do hate this bullshit when gods are like, I can't, or superheroes like, I really can't solve the world's problems because then everybody would be like complacent. I shouldn't do that. I don't like that. I really hate that.
What are you thinking about the trees? What was that? The
council or whatever.
The Council of Trees.
The Parliament of Trees.
The Parliament of Trees.
But the Parliament of Trees sucks. Didn't he burn them all down, or was that in the Charles Soule run?
That was a while back. Maybe. I don't think he burned them down, but he did. I feel like later.
I remember he murdered all the Parliament of Trees. I read a Swamp Thing book where he did that.
I don't think that was
later.
Yeah, that was later. I think in this one we kind of heard him like kind of be like, "Oh, I feel like I'm learning what the Parliament was telling me." But he is.
That's right. Yeah. That was this one. Yeah.
Yeah. But he is like, mankind's got to do it on his own, and he's like, "I'm gonna build us a retirement home out of plants." And so he does that. Then they go tell Chester that she's dropping out of the eco group, and they're happy for her. And Liz and Chester seem to be getting together, and that's the end. The story is framed at the beginning and the end by a random Louisiana guy who's rowing down the bayou, And at first, everything feels a little deader to the Bayou people. And at the end, some reporter is like, "Hey, can you tell us about the Swamp Thing sightings over here? We can make a lot of money." And this guy's like, "I don't give a shit." And he just goes off living his Bayou life. Yep. Um. So, we got them back together, and we gave them a little bit of a happy ending. But I feel like not a whole lot actually happened. It was just a lot of like, yeah, treading water until we got them back together, kill some bad guys, give us a satisfying ending, and let's get out of here. Vince, how'd you feel by the end of it?
Better, but also like, man, I would have quit this book if this wasn't the last volume. I actively did not like this. I feel like the this issue was fine. But the issues before that are all like everything I hate in comics, or I just do not enjoy in my like pleasure reading. Is not so it was not a good arc for me. At all. And I'm curious like why Moore had a different didn't write all these issues. Like was he tapping out also, like losing interest, or was he just?
It does seem because when does he start writing Watchmen? It's like right around this time.
It's got to be because this is like we're in like 85, 86 here.
This is already 80,
87. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he's losing interest. Ironically, like I remember that like Mark Millar and Brian Hitch were gonna do like 16 issues of Fantastic Four, like 4-issue arcs each on each Fantastic Four member, and all the final like 4 issues were just like plot by Millar and Hitch, and then it was other people like writing it because they just got bored or drawn away or just lost interest. So that's how this feels to me. It's just like okay, well, it's not like he's building to an ending. He's more like I'm just kind of done with this book.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for a monthly. Brubaker had a similar ending with Captain America.
And he was writing it. Yeah, he was writing this for a while, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was winding it down because, he's, so August 87, he's winding down Watchmen, actually.
Yeah, I don't remember what else what his whole timeline is with, like, America's Best Comics and stuff.
Well, that's later, but I know he was doing like Batman the Killing Joke was when was that?
That's all in this era.
Yeah. Like all his DC, that's March 1988, so that's coming up right after this. So it's like he's very busy with DC until probably the next like year or two, and then he's done with them by like 1990.
But yeah, that's that. I guess anything else to say about it? I mostly echo what Vince thought. It was fine. I don't think I hated it as much as Vince did because I do still like those little bits of all the other characterization, and I don't hate Adam Strange. I was just it's just not what I wanted. But yeah, definitely weaker than every other volume that we've read, I think. Chris, did you give any sort of final thoughts?
No, but no, I agree. I mean, I know Vince has like a particular bugaboo about alien languages and just non-Earth stuff. I don't like it very much either. And so this is definitely like the weakest arc. There's not a whole lot new that we're learning about Abby or Swamp Thing. And it's even like when they get together, there's not like anything actively trying to stop them. I mean, we know Arcane is still in hell, but I don't know. I feel like they could deal with some villain that's trying to, do something to, keep them apart a little longer. But they just immediately are back together and everything's fine.
Yeah, that last issue definitely has that very epilogue-y feel of just kind of Swamp Thing sitting there, taking it all in, thinking about everything he's been through, and being like, "All right, here's what we're gonna do: just retire."
But I remember, and they played a lot of the hands of these things. I remember when him and her got together, and it was like a psychedelic, like orgasmic kind of issue where everything was just like really like cool. Like the art was just like it was just like an explosion of like color and like feeling. Like I feel like that's where they've already done that trick though. But that's also like Swamp Thing's back with Abigail. Like that's what also I would end it with, maybe a little more so.
Yeah.
Without a conflict, because then they're gonna have conflicts. But I like looked at the next issue and it's like Swamp Thing's gonna go talk to the Parliament of Trees. Constantine's back, and Swamp Thing dies. And I'm like, oh, okay, now we're just in like recycling all the concepts introduced over the last 50 issues for the rest of Swamp Thing. Okay.
It is you could tell that a young Joss Whedon was probably reading this series at the time, because I did read it and see like what the next story arc is. And it's that the Council of Trees is like, well, you were dead, so we already like are in the process of the next Swamp Thing being born.
Oh, okay.
So we weren't really counting on you coming back. So it's setting up a similar thing to Buffy whenever there's like the army of Slayers or whatever after she had died and come back.
They did that with in No Time to Die for the last James Bond movie. Like, Daniel Craig, you turn in your badge and your gun and quit MI6 every movie. We just got a new 007. All right, man. Like, you've retired already. So I'm familiar with that plot trope, and I do like it.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. All right. Well, I think that closes the book on Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Alan Moore and Rick Veitch and Stephen Bissett and all the other guest writers. Yeah. But finishes up for them. All right. So on to our long read. We don't got a long read this time. These issues were long enough. There was 8 Alan Moore issues. I was not going to try and do a long read. But we are going to get back into a long read next time. Next time we are reading The Ultimates by... Hey, wait a minute, Vince. You just mentioned Mark Millar and Brian Hitch, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did. Well, they were on top of my mind because of that.
We're going to do The Ultimates, which, God, I haven't even thought about the Ultimates in forever, but it's the whole Ultimate Universe from Marvel. This was their version of the Avengers, the Ultimates. So we're going to check that out and see how much the Marvel movies stole from this.
And Joss Whedon, director of the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
And he claimed that it was all, the Ultimates was his story, or Avengers was entirely his story. We'll find out when we read the Ultimates.
We'll find out.
But that's our long read. We're just reading issue 1 of the Ultimates.
Yeah. And our main read next time is one that Chris recommended. It's an indie one I hadn't heard of, but it's called Beneath the Trees, Where Nobody Sees. And the first blurb on Google is what Dexter meets the busy world of Richard Scarry. So I'm in. Anything else we got to say about this thing?
It looks pretty cool. I like the art of it.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yep.
That's by Patrick Horvath. I don't know if I said. Chris, were you going to say something else?
I was just going to say to like finish Alan Moore. I do think that this was a great run of comics, but it's not like the strength of something like Sandman is, and obviously putting aside any personal issues with Neil Gaiman or whatever, but he had like a very clear endpoint in mind, and everything kind of came together, and it was really good. Swamp Thing just kind of ends with a little bit of a whimper, where he has a cool fight with Batman in Gotham City and stuff. And then there's like 10 more issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, and before that, had that huge arc also where he like went to hell or something, and like Zatanna's dad got killed.
Yeah, that was before the Gotham stuff. He has the Constantine stuff and met the Parliament of Trees and all that, which was cool. And like the witches and all of the there was so much kind of new body horror stuff going on in the book.
Oh, that
for
bird
a long
person.
time.
That bird.
That was like the head that got cut off and then turned into a bird. That's my high point arc. Was that volume 4? I want to say.
I think that was 4. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my high point of the whole Swamp Thing run.
Yeah. Like that stuff, I really liked when he's like learning his powers and like the aliens come, like the Pogo issue,
that's cool
which
too.
is kind of after the big storyline with Abby and all the craziness with that. But like it's so good for a long time that it's just kind of a shame that it's just like, this whole arc just felt like we were treading water, where it's just like, well, it's fine.
Just to give this particular one a bit more positive, I do still think that Swamp Thing absorbing a bunch of sentient plant people is one of like conceptually the best premises that you could come up with for Swamp Thing. I kind of wish that had been maybe more of the focus of this whole arc, because it's just fucking crazy. I love it.
If it was just like the 2 issues of Adam Strange and then it's just the 1 issue of the Green Lantern things.
Yeah.
Like if he was in space for like 3 or 4 issues, I feel like that would be palatable instead of like 7 issues. Mm-hmm. It's too much.
I wanted to see him just absorbing more plant life and looking crazy and weird more often. Yeah. That's the yeah.
And even the New Gods one, I know Vince didn't like that one, but it's like there's some cool images in that one. Like that had some cool ideas. Mm-hmm. It's the other 2 issues that I was like, I just don't need these at all.
At all. Yep. But I think that brings us to a close here. Vince. No, Chris usually does better plugs. Vince, we'll get to your shitty plugs later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta start with the best.
Chris, what's your good plug? What's the Your Stupid Minds podcast up to?
Return of the Good plug.
Yeah.
Your Stupid Minds, we just, because Paul Thomas Anderson has a new movie in theaters, we decided to cover a movie by Paul W.S. Anderson. He did The Three Musketeers in 2011, and you'll never guess who he casts as Milady de Winter, the femme fatale character in The Three Musketeers. It's Famke, or no, Mila Jovovich, not Famke Johnson, a different.
His wife though.
His wife, Mila Jovovich.
So she's not playing. I assumed that they would just decide they would have made D'Artagnan a woman, and made Mila Jovovich D'Artagnan. I would assume
she's the secondary villain of
really?
The movie. She still has a bunch of like wire fu fighting.
Hell yeah.
And like she has to strip down to her underwear to like get into the queen's bed chambers or whatever to steal these diamonds to frame the Duke of Buckingham.
See, this all sounds great. This all sounds. Your Stupid Minds is a bad movie podcast, right?
It is a bad movie podcast.
Okay, because that sounds great.
I do appreciate it. It reunites, although I don't know the order of when they were released. But Luke Evans plays Aramis, and Orlando Bloom plays the Duke of Buckingham.
Yeah.
And they're basically the same guy, so I don't know how they're able to exist in the same space. But they were obviously, I think, Bard the Bowman or whatever his name was in the Hobbit sequels. Mm-hmm. And then Legolas is also in those movies. Yeah. So reuniting Hobbit characters. And it's not accurate at all to the novels. It's not really accurate to anything else. It's obviously filmed in 3D in the last half hour when there's airships coming at the camera repeatedly. But it's fun.
I'm excited to check that episode out.
Vince, what do you got to plug?
Oh, y'all gave me so much time for the Return of the Good plug. I'm playing Super Mario Galaxy 2 right now on my Switch. And I would plug recommending to Nintendo a better control option for Yoshi. Because it sucks. I don't like controlling Yoshi in that game. Because you use his tongue with the touchscreen when you're in handheld mode. So I'm holding the giant Switch 2 with my left hand and tapping the screen with my right hand. I don't like it. So I can recommend calling your local Nintendo representative, not your politicians, just Nintendo, your local Nintendo representative or senator, and telling them to change the controls of Super Mario Galaxy 2. That's what I'm plugging today.
Yeah, write a letter to Doug Bowser, everybody.
Doug retired. He's retired.
Yeah, so long, Gay Bowser.
So long, Gay Bowser.
There's a new president, Ms. Devin Pritchard. So she's now in charge of. Poor her. I don't want to be sending hate mail towards her on her.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Send it. Just send it to Reggie and Bowser. I'm sure they're still used to it.
So are you playing it with like the Wiimote or style motion controls, or how are you playing it?
I'm playing it literally handheld, where you've got but the Wii the Wii pointer, to get the little star bits, or to control Yoshi's tongue, is completely touch based. So you have to touch the screen. If you detach the Joy-Con, you could use them as a pointer, like the original Wii. But when it's a handheld, you're not controlling with the right stick. So it's like the exact opposite of like the Skyward Sword HD controls, where like the right stick was controlling the sword, and then you had to hold a button to move the camera. It's always just camera. It's very odd. So my screen is like full of smudges if I want to get the star bits. And it was fine for Galaxy 1, but Yoshi, you have to like move him and like with your left stick and catch stuff with your tongue while he's platforming. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. But other than that, it's a fun game.
Cool.
Kia, what do you got to plug?
We were in Rochester this last weekend for a wedding, and the local delicacy in Rochester is something called the garbage plate.
Ooh.
Which is like a burger on top of some fries, but like a deconstructed burger with like meat sauce on top of it, and like just like what else was on there? Macaroni salad. And it's just fucking throw it all on a plate. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So if you are in the mood for some garbage food and you're in the Rochester area, get yourself a garbage plate. That's my plug.
I typed in garbage plate and it filled in Rochester. So
yeah, it knows. It knows. Also, I'm still playing.
It's the signature dish of Rochester. Multiple restaurants serve it.
Yeah, there's like we went to the one that like originated it, but yes, multiple restaurants serve this plate. Wild. They had I was confused because they had a like, you know, you got the burger one, you got a cheeseburger one, then you got the white hot or you got the Texas hot, which really confused me because I was like, wait, why does the Rochester delicacy have a Texas hot version, which is just like a sausage, like a big sausage, I think. Anyways, Texas means sausage.
That's what the heat is known for. I'm also seeing a compost plate, which is a vegan variant.
They have vegan variants. They got fish variants at different places. Yeah. Some people want a healthy garbage plate. Come on.
I've been wanting to go to Rochester because I think the Museum of Play is up there, and I've been wanting to go.
Yeah, there's like a toy museum. I saw something in the airport there. Yeah. Though, boy, their airport was that city though was dead. Their airport was dead. I went into a bathroom in their airport that had 2 urinals and 2 stalls, which just seems like unreasonable for an airport. You know what I mean?
Not like 20 stalls.
Not like 20. Yeah, like I was just like, what the fuck is this? Felt like I was not in civilization. So, anyways. Get Rochester. I'm not plugging Rochester. Want to be clear. I'm plugging the garbage plate. All right. But
I was in Rochester 10 months ago, and so I'll plug the Vietnamese restaurant I went to. They had some pretty good authentic Vietnamese food that I was surprised I could get in Rochester, New York.
All right.
At Nam Vang restaurant.
All right. Actually, you know, I'll plug another restaurant we went to in Rochester. It was a diner called Jim's, but not the Jim's from Texas. Totally separate. But it did excite me because I was like, well, I feel like it's gonna be good just because it's called Jim's. So that place was good too. Good
Unlike
diner.
San Antonio Jim's, which has become terrible.
Has it really?
And like most of them have closed, and the ones that are still around are not good.
Oh no. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Poor Jim's, get your shit together.
I think them and Luby's, I think, were owned by the same company. Most of Luby's are gone too.
Which
people aren't gonna understand the joke that one of the characters is named Luann Platter on King of the Hill. That there's no Luby's. It's gonna just be sad.
It's true.
Well, I think everyone write a letter to Doug Bowser and Reggie Fils-Aime and tell them to improve the quality of gyms in Texas, please.
Tell him Kia sent you.
Tell him Kia sent you. Yeah. But I think we're done here. Vince, I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Chris, I love you.
I don't have a funny joke. Goodbye.
Goodbye, listener.
Oh shit! He just took that Zeta Ray beam and just fucked off right now.
Oh no, he's gone.
He'll be back after you have the baby in 5 years.
Wait, I'm pregnant in this situation? Yes.
Adam Strange said that Adam Strange was his name. Like he's like, I haven't been back in 3 years. Like she's pregnant, and then he's just gonna fuck off for another 3 years. Like that's the plan.
Yep. That's the plan. It's less of a plan and more of just like it's just how it's got to be.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
On that note, listener, we love you as well. We will not disappear on you after having your babies. It's a very weird outro. Just end it, Vince. Bye.